being here is incredible because, you know, we were here 17 years ago, and this is the group of champions, okay? I don't know if you looked at the sign outside the door. This is the champion room. Look at the marquee outside, the champion room right here, okay? And we want to welcome you all here, and this is going to be an unbelievable week that we spend with each other. 17 years ago, it was unbelievable. And let me just get you clear on this, because what's going to happen here this weekend. 17 years ago, I took a little group, and you got to understand, we started the company on February 19th. That was the official date, okay? February, the first couple of weeks, those things, we were just putting stuff together. But the first meeting was on February 19th, where I had the meeting with the baggie full of powder, okay? And in that next 2 weeks, we did $23,000 worth of business, okay? And we didn't have anything, okay, anything. All we had was the can of Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4, an energy tablet, and a brochure to tell you how to use the Formula 1, 2, 3, 4, and energy tablets. That was it, okay? And no testimonials at that time, nobody income at that time, nothing, okay? And we did $23,000 with that. So I'm the kind of person that you can't convince that, you know, hey, you know, it's a hard thing to do, $23,000, okay? It's not a hard thing to do, $23,000 if you work, okay? And we're going to talk all this week okay, about work, okay? Because a lot of people are mixed up on what the definition of work is, okay? Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about what is work, okay? And trust me, I know how to work. And I'm going to teach you guys how to work like you've never worked in your entire life. Some of you may not want to work, okay, the way that we're going to talk about working, but we're going to teach you, okay, and take you through how to work, okay? And we came down, the second month there, we did $44,000 worth of business. And I got the idea at that meeting that, listen, why don't we put a goal on the entire company, okay? And what we'll do is we'll go down to Palm Springs and we'll get this incredible house. And what we'll do there is we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to get to be friends together, and we're going to cook together, we're going to drink together, we're going to get to know friendships, we're going to get to know each other's stories, and we're going to plan the company. Okay, and what we did is not only we planned a company, we talked about what products we were going to come out with, we talked about who was going to do the meetings for the next year, we talked about what was going to happen at the first extravaganza that was coming up at the first of the year, we talked about everything at that meeting, okay, and it happened for about 3 days, and it was so cool because what happened was, we were talking to everybody all month long, and you got to understand something. Nobody in the company had made, I was the highest guy, okay? I was telling everybody that we were going to Palm Springs, and whoever got there and whoever got with me, that we were going to plan the company, and anybody that got there, it was going to be unbelievable, okay, is what it was going to be. When I was only making $2,500, okay? And there was approximately 40 supervisors in the company at that time. So what happened was some of the group bid on the idea, okay? And I'll never forget that because I was chasing everybody in my group. And all of a sudden, Jerry Svetanovich, Jerry wanted to be in that meeting so bad, it was just unbelievable. And she started, nobody in the company, by the way, had done more than 4,000 volume points at that particular point in the company. And all of a sudden, by halftime in the month, Jerry was already at 4,000 points, okay? And I was calling up Doug Stunts, and I said, Dougie, you're not going to believe it. You know, Jerry's going to make it to Palm Springs. You got to go, you got to go. And Doug said, oh, man, Jerry's going to make it? That school teacher? Oh, man. And he said, I got to go, I got to go, I got to go. And all of a sudden, Doug was working like crazy. Flyers at night, going crazy, doing the 7-Eleven stores, talking to everybody he could. And I get Frank Lutz on the telephone, and I said, Frank, you're not even going to believe it. I said, Jerry Svetanovich and Doug Stuntz are going to Palm Springs. I said, Frank, I said, don't miss it on the program here. Get your mind right. I said, we're going to Palm Springs. Okay, now wake up, Frank. Okay, and Frank says, I'm going. And long story short, we had Frank Lutz at that deal. We had Jerry Svetanovich. We had Doug Stuntz, which all became multimillionaires. Okay, and we had Don Greneau. You've heard the story. Okay, and Don Greneau missed it. Okay, he missed out. Still got a chance to get back in, by the way. Okay, but he missed out. Okay, and there was Dallas Bordenov, who missed it, and there was Tim Greeny, who missed it. Okay, and so you guys don't want to miss what's going to be happening here this weekend. And we went to the supervisor school that week, and we talked about how we were all going to Palm Springs. It was great because we did our supervisor school, and we did just like the group here a minute ago, 7,500 points. I said, I want all my guys to stand up who did 7,500 volume, and I want you guys to recognize them. And the whole room went crazy. We had like 200 people. It was our biggest meeting ever. All the guests were there, and all my people stood up, and we walked out of the room. And it was just unbelievable, right? Everybody, now you got to understand something. We walked about 2 blocks down the street. You understand? Here's the meeting room. We said, we're all going to Palm Springs. Goodbye, okay? And we said, you guys go, because we're going. And we went. And we went about 2 blocks down the street, and Doug got into his old gray primer-stained van, which was around the corner, because we didn't want anybody to see it, okay? And Jerry's old Toyota, okay, and everybody's old broke down, ugly looking, ridiculous car, okay, and we all drove down to Palm Springs, man, and we were so excited, it was unbelievable, okay, we were excited. And we finally get to Las Palmas, which is the richest part of Palm Springs, and down the road here, right? And we turn the corner, and everybody looks at the house. And it was unbelievable. You wouldn't believe this house, man. I mean, it was about 1,000 square feet, okay? 1,000 square feet, okay? So you guys know what, I don't know what that is in the meters and stuff like that. How many meters? 100? 100 square meters, okay? And there was 2 bedrooms in there. I got the master bedroom because I was the prez. And all the girls slept in the other bedroom. And all the guys took the sofa and the floor out in the room. And we tried to go there and film yesterday the house, okay? And unfortunately, it was so ugly, they burnt it down. They burnt it down, okay? So we can't, seriously, they burnt it down. So we can't show you the house that we were in. But this was us at the boardroom table, planning the thing out. And there we were. Look at that hairdo I got. Isn't that cool? So that was me at the end of the table. That was my girlfriend over there to the right, Catherine. She was the secretary making everything that I didn't want to do happen, okay? We're going to talk about that. You got to get someone to do everything that you don't want to do happen, okay? So that you can work, okay? Because we only get paid for selling the products and then teaching people how to sell the products, okay? We don't get paid for doing the paperwork, okay? Could you imagine Mark Hughes doing some paperwork? Okay, I have never done any paperwork, ever, okay? The minute I get someone signed up, do the paperwork. Here's how you do, okay? And then that's how they do, and go do it, okay? Because I don't do any paperwork. Everybody else has to set the meeting up, okay? Yes, everybody else. From the start, by the way, everybody else has to make my bed, okay? Everybody else has to mow the lawn. Everybody else has to do everything, okay? Because the only time you got time to do anything is selling the products all day long and getting distributors all day long and teaching people how to sell all day long and getting distributors all day long. That's the only thing you get paid on. The only thing. And that is going to be a general theme through this entire weekend here. We're going to teach you guys how to work, okay? And while we were there, we were planning out all the products, like I said. We were planning out everything that was going to happen in the company. And it was great because we were talking there in that meeting about how we were going to go. I had my original notes with me, okay? And I had my notepad with me there. We're going to have it come up on the screen here in a second. And I had my original notes, and I told the group there that day, okay, how we were going to do $2 million worth of business the first year. $2 million. And I told them that the first year it was going to be rough, and it was rough, okay? It was seriously rough. Because the reason it was rough is we had no testimonials, and we had no income. This is my handwriting, okay? Don't do the second one yet. Come back, guys. I'm not done yet. Okay, come back to the first one. The first year was rough, and it was rough because of all the things that we had to go through to get it up to being where it was. The second year, we were going to build the credibility of the company, okay? This is my handwriting that you're seeing there. My handwriting was much better back then, by the way. And I projected $20 million for the second year. And then the third year was going to be called Panic. $100 million, that was when we were going to hit the jackpot. Everybody was going to become a multimillionaire, and everything that I talked about came true. We were a little late, okay? We were a little late because we did $10 million the first year, $2 million the first year. The second year at the $20 million, we got 10, okay? But 10 was plenty enough to get us to half of what the third year was, which was 58, okay? And the fourth year, we did more. We didn't hit the 100 million. We hit $142 million. My first year, I made $96,000. My second year, I made $500,000. My third year, I made almost $2 million. Okay? And from there, I've made some serious money. Okay? And we're going to show you guys how to make serious money and what it takes to make serious money, okay? This is not the regular meeting, okay? We're going to go through some stuff with you guys that's going to be real important here. One thing that we talked about in Palm Springs is how we were going to work together like a football team, okay? Everybody was going to support each other, okay? Everybody, all the time, by the way. Not just some of the time, all the time we were going to be like a football team. And every morning we were going to get up and we were going to practice what was on our tapes. Back then we had the Jim Rowan tape, okay? And we got up and we listened to our tapes for a half an hour to get our minds right every day, okay? And then we were going to hit the road and we were going to work, okay? But we were going to get up, and we were going to get up earlier than everybody in Herbalife is what was going to happen. We were going to listen to our tape and we were going to get to work. And we were going to support each other like no one's ever supported each other. Okay, and that's a problem that I see in the company today, okay? And we're going to really talk about this here this weekend, okay? Supporting each other no matter what. See, part of our deal, gang, is there's a lot of people not supporting each other. There's so many rumors going on, and the rumors are rumors, half of these things, okay? And people are calling each other on the phone, and they're talking to people about the rumor. Okay, or about who's shipping something someplace, somewhere, okay, and they don't even know if it's true. And what they're doing is they're calling everybody in their downline griping about it, and they're calling all their upline and griping about it. They're calling everybody else, okay, in the sideline, okay, and talking about it. And here's what they're doing. Write this down. They're taking 30% of their time talking about what's going on. About the mean, nasty rumors and what's happening and who's bad and who's good and all the other stuff. That means you're making 30% less money. We got to support each other, okay? And then if somebody's doing something bad, we report it to the company. Now, I know when we've reported to the company sometimes here, there's been some slow-mo, okay, happening on some of the stuff on getting back to whatever the problem is. We understand that. We understand that there's been certain problems with people who have been exporting products that have been getting away with it, and we've been doing fines, okay, and we've been doing other things that most of you think haven't been happening, okay? You think, hey, everybody's getting away with this deal, okay? And everybody isn't getting away with this deal. And we're not going to get into it now, but tomorrow we're going to show you the people that we've cut off and terminated. We're going to show you the people that we fined, okay? But we're going to show you the best part because it's going to get better than it's ever been. We got something new that is going to 100%, okay, in 90 days, stop everything that's got to do with wrongdoing Herbalife business, okay? Whether it's exporting. So we're going to have everything that you've got in your mind, okay? Everything that you've got in your mind is going to get cleared up this weekend, okay? You're not going to be fuzzy about anything when you leave, okay? And we talked about that in Palm Springs. And we talked about how we were going to build. We talked about our self-esteem. We talked about what we were going to look like. We talked about what we were going to accomplish. And we talked about to get there, we were going to all have to have a serious amount of courage. Because let me tell you something, to make $1 million a year, you got to continually do the things that sometimes you don't want to do, the things that are uncomfortable, okay? And you got to become a pro, okay, at getting comfortable with doing the uncomfortable. Okay, and doing that over and over. But we talked about how courageous we were going to be. And we also talked about our dreams at that meeting. We talked about the houses that we were going to be living in. We talked about the cars that we were going to be driving. We talked about the second homes that we were going to have, our vacation houses. We talked about, everybody had their own dreams there that weekend, and we found out what everybody wanted. And we talked about what everybody's dreams were going to be, whether it was putting their kids through school and so on and so forth. We talked about the unbelievable commitment we were going to have to make to take Herbalife around the entire world. And that is a serious commitment. And it not only is then, it is a serious commitment today to take Herbalife around the entire world, which is in the process of happening. But we talked about how we were going to have to be different than all the distributors in Herbalife. We were going to have a different kind of commitment than usual, regular distributors. We weren't talking about get team members. We weren't talking about millionaire team attitudes. We were talking about multi-millionaire commitment, okay, to the company. And this is when we were only doing $80,000 that month in business. And I talked a lot about that day, that where I was at, okay, this is where I was at, because a lot of people lose it when they're doing Herbalife. They get extremely excited when they come down to that first meeting, right? First meeting, everything's happening, they're excited, and then they're going, okay? And in the second month, you know, they do kind of okay. The third month, now they're in the flyers that they've worked their circle of influence, right? And now they're getting into the second stage of having to do business, and it's not going quite as good. The fourth month, it starts to become a job. The fifth month, it's, you know, it's so-so testimonial. I talked about what was going to be happening with me is I was going to be wild the first month. In the second month, I was going to be wilder. The third month, I was going to be crazy. Okay? The fourth month, I was going to be ecstatic. Okay? Ecstatic is what I was going to be. The fifth month, I was going to be consistently ecstatic. And this was the third month, and I was talking this. See? It hadn't happened yet. But I was telling them it was going to happen, and it happened. Some of it didn't happen all of the same day it was supposed to, right? But it happened. We all talked about that we were going to have to work with all of our total commitment, our mind, our body, our soul, towards our personal goals, okay? And if we didn't do that, with everything that we had, we were losers. And we deserve to be losers, okay? See, if you want to be where you're at and just keep going, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what we were talking about in Palm Springs. We were talking about how we were going to become millionaires, how we were going to commit to the company and build Herbalife around the world. That's an unusual commitment, okay? That's extraordinary commitment we're talking about, okay? And that's what we talked about that here, there, then, and that's what we're going to talk about here. We talked about how we were going to stick to the basics on continuing to sell the products and continuing to get distributors, and we were going to continue to teach people how to sell the products, and that's what we were going to do all day long, okay? And then we told them at that meeting, I said, listen, gang, we're now about to leave, okay? And I've told you everything that there is to know, okay? And everything that I've shared with you here may not be for you. So if it isn't, great, okay? But where I'm going is $100 million. So I got to see you guys. I'm leaving, and I left. And when we got out of that group meeting, there was a couple of people that didn't make it. Dallas Bordenov never made it. Tim Greeny stuck for about 3 years. 3 years he did it. He's the sponsor of Mark Zuckerberg in the back of the room. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Okay, can you believe it? Okay, and he left. He left. And I never forget putting it on Tim Greeny. He was my best friend. Okay, we had really gotten to like each other. We were very much like each other. And I never forget taking him up to my first house that I bought up on Mulholland Drive. And we were sitting there, and I said, Tim, you are making such a serious mistake. I put my best deal on Tim. Okay, just like I'm going to put my best deal on you guys. Okay, I tried everything I knew how to do, and Tim left. Okay, and he's got Mark Zuckerberg and all the group, Philly, everybody underneath that deal, and he's gone. Okay, tough, tough. Okay, and that's what it's going to be here, tough. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're back in Palm Springs for the second time. And we're going to get to be good friends this weekend. Good friends, okay? No private meetings for Mark Hughes, okay? I'm going to be out with you guys, and I'm going to try to get every single person's story in the room. I know you guys, okay? I know you guys, okay? But I don't know you guys, okay? And we're going to get to know each other differently than we've known each other ever before, as much as we can, in 4 days, okay? Everywhere I'm going to be is at the pool, at the breakfast table, at the wherever you guys are at, okay, is what it's going to be, okay? Because this group is my champions, okay? And we are the group that's going to make it happen. And we're going to talk all week long about the teamwork that we're going to have to take Herbalife around the world, to have the kind of prestige that we want, to have the kind of smell-good company that we want, to have the kind of shiny image that we want. It's going to take a serious amount of teamwork, because we're in a serious amount of languages, with a lot of different religions, with a lot of different colors of skin, with a lot of different kind of personalities, and it's going to take a lot of people that have the commitment to take the message, okay, to all around the world, okay? And we're going to get to know each other. We're going to get rid of all the rumors this week. All the rumors, whatever they are, and I know what they are, by the way, okay, and you guys are going to help give some of them, okay? We're going to get rid of them all this weekend so that our minds are right. So that we're not thinking 30% of our time about who's doing what and everything that's going on, okay? The only thing that you need to be thinking about, okay? Only thing you need to be thinking about, okay, is how many customers you're going to be getting, and how many distributors you're going to be getting, and how many people, and then you're going to get teaching those people how to get customers and how to get distributors. That's all you guys need to be doing, okay? That's all you need to be doing, okay? All you need to be doing. "50% of the first Palm Springs group became millionaires." Now look at what we got here. Isn't this interesting? And I'll tell you what's really interesting, okay? There was me and 7 people that came to Palm Springs. Today what we have is me and my 7 Chairman's Club members today. Very interesting. And we are all going to this front row, okay, because these guys are very good friends of mine, and they know, okay, they know how to work, and we're going to do our best job, okay, to get everybody in the room clear, okay, and like I said at the beginning, okay, if everything that we talk about isn't for you, that's okay, okay? This is not your average, ordinary, regular meeting that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what the game plan is. I'm going to show you guys the entire game plan on how we're going to get this year here. You understand? This year here, if we pour it on when we get out of this room, we're going to be about $1.5 billion this year. $1.5 billion. Now that means we got to get out of this room, okay, and we got to pour it on like we've never poured it on in our entire life in the next few months, because we might miss it by 50 million if we don't get busy, okay? But we need that $1.5 billion. Do you understand why we need that? Write this down. It sounds better. It's part of our history. It's going to be part of our story that helps us get people in, write this down, easier. Every year in Herbalife has been easier. Every year. So we have to pour it on so we can hit 1.5 billion so we can make it easier. Okay? Then I'm going to show you guys, okay, over the next couple of days, how we're going to hit 2.1 billion next year. Write that down, because that's what we're going to do. Okay? If you guys do it, it's irrelevant. I am going to do 2.1 billion. Do you understand? I am going to do 2.1 billion. We're going to show you the products, okay, that's happening over the next year. Okay, we're going to show you that. We're going to show you the countries that are going to be happening, okay? We're going to show you how we're ethically going to do it, okay? We're going to show you that. Okay, we're going to become best friends here this weekend, okay? But we're going to show you this weekend how we're going to get to $5 billion, okay? $5 billion. $5 billion. $5 billion is what's going to be happening. And I'm going to get the $5 billion, period. Okay? This kid is going to $5 billion. Now, again, if you guys decide to get in on this, okay, great. Because let me tell you how much money you're going to be making at $5 billion. Write this down. Put down your total income that you're making per month right now. Write that down. Everybody. Karsten. Everybody. Okay. No, don't think. Right. Do as I say. Don't think. I don't want you to think. I want you to listen and do. Okay? Where could you be living? What kind of houses could you guys have? What kind of clothes could you be having? How many cars could you have? Do you understand that at $5 billion, there's going to be $50 million in just the 1% pie? $50 million. Do you know how much money that is? And it's going to happen. And it's going to be unbelievable when it happens. The whole world, gang, is going to be open in about the next 5 years. The entire world. Okay? And we're going to get the products that we have currently in all the existing countries. We're going to get the other countries opened up with the regular product line, and then come back and get them all the products. Then we're going to show you this weekend the new products that we're going to get involved with over this year and the next year. We're going to show you that. This is not for everybody to show, okay, but we're going to show you guys, okay? And we're going to do the $5 billion plan, and it's going to be absolutely unbelievable. And let me tell you, that's where I'm going, okay? The biggest money that's ever been made in this company is going to be made between here and $5 billion. The next money is going to be made from then to $20 billion. You guys are looking at the Microsoft of nutrition. Nutrition Gates, yes. We're going to also do something that's a little different because we're going to work. Okay, I'm going to work this weekend. My Chairman's Club members are going to help get you guys. What a story that's going to be. Okay, but we're not going for 50% of the room. We're going for 100% of the room like we did in Palm Springs. Some of those guys, yes, everybody. Everybody. Some of those few didn't get it because of circumstances, okay? There's no testimonials, nothing was happening, okay? There was a different set of circumstances in the first room. This room doesn't have that set of circumstances. We got the products of the century, okay? If we didn't do anything else, and we just had our products, we could get the $5 billion if we kept talking long enough and just kept doing, okay? Yes, yes. We've got the marketing plan of the century. Now, I don't know if you know this, okay? But we pay out, write this down, 30% more than any other direct sales company in the world. Now, I know some of you may doubt that because of the way some people have come to you and they've shown you the 10% on the first level, the 8% on the second level, the this percent on the this level, and so on and so forth. But listen, I know all the marketing plans that are out there. They've got their point values, and they pay on wholesale, or they pay on different numbers. And when you look at it and trickle it all down, okay, all down. And by the way, you're going to have a brochure at the summit that's going to show you every company, okay, every company, every company. So, we're the best. We're the best, right?